That was not a top 50 verse.
Like the new song?
No, but you know.
You don't like Ace Trumpets?
What's so great about it?
It's so good.
The whole industry's locked in like it's front row at a train wreck. And this one's moving in slow motion. It's messy, wild, and nobody's looking away. No peace, no play. This is straight up lyrical warfare. And somehow Jim Jones turned himself into the main event without even realizing it. It all started with some side-eye shade, but then it exploded.
Pusha T or Malice?
To keep it a buck, I'm gonna go with Pusha T. So we're not gonna drink to them.
Jim went from clowning Pusha T like his music was background noise to becoming the unintentional promo poster for Clipse's comeback. Yeah, that's right. The man who used to brush them off is now being used to bring the spotlight back to their legacy. You can't script irony like this. And guess when all this blew up? Right in the middle of Paris Fashion Week, the flashiest, most high-profile moment of the year, and who was sitting front row watching it all play out like a live soap opera? Pharrell, Beyonce, Jay-Z. Yeah, the top-tier power players were locked in while Jim stood dead center in the storm. He started with his own words. It all flipped the second he dropped that wild line. My son can't name one Nas record. What? He really said that. No filters, no context, just disrespect out the gate. He didn't just throw shade. He stomped on Nas's legacy like it meant nothing, like it didn't shape an entire generation. That was a violation, period.
My son can't tell you one Nas record. You heard? Like, let's keep it a buck here.
Yeah, but
like, let's keep.
But it gets even messier. That line, that wasn't just a one-off. Jim turned the disrespect into a full-blown campaign. Man was laughing, bragging, popping up on The Breakfast Club, Bag Fuel, Nightcap with Shannon Sharp, anywhere with a mic and a camera. He even hit up random IG lives and sidewalk interviews, running his mouth like he wanted a rap war. He didn't backpedal, he doubled down again and again. This wasn't trolling. This was a parade of ego, and Jim was leading the charge like he thought nobody would check him. But the whole culture is watching now. Then things got real out of pocket on Bag Fuel. Jim tried to clean it up, talking like he wasn't dissing Nas, just speaking his truth as a fan. But with a dead serious face, he actually claimed he was the reason Nas started trending. Like what? Bro really said Nas has never been talked about like this before, ever in his life. That's wild delusion. But here's where it flips. Jim clearly didn't know who he was messing with. Nas ain't the type to jump in comment sections or go tit for tat on IG Live. That man moves like a boss in silence. He ain't chasing clout. He's out here in boardrooms with billionaires, locking down tech deals, making legacy plays while folks out here playing. While Jim's online lighting fake fires, Nas was laying real groundwork. Big moves, quiet power. And when it came time to speak, Nas didn't drop a diss, he dropped a nuke. Out of nowhere, he slid onto Instagram with a cool little flex, a promo post for a $5 billion casino project in Queens. Yeah, read that again, $5 billion. Who needs a rap battle when you can just drop a deal that changes the whole culture? That post said it all without saying a word. I'm way too paid for this nonsense. But Jim, man didn't get the message. Instead of falling back, he tripled down and aimed straight at Pusha T next. With zero hesitation, he said, loud and proud, that Pusha ain't even top 50. He said it with his whole chest like it was facts. At that point, it wasn't just messy, it was reckless. Wild doesn't even cover it. See, Jim thought he was just tossing shots at Pusha, but what he didn't realize, Malice was listening too. And now fans are asking the real question. Did Jim Jones accidentally reunite Clipse off one reckless take? Because let's be clear, Clipse didn't just show up out of nowhere. These brothers been laying low, grinding in the shadows for over 15 years. But the ones paying attention already caught the clues. Long before Jim opened his mouth, Pusha T had slipped something real subtle into a Rolling Stone interview. He admitted he'd been trying to get Malice back on board. In his own words, I'm like, yo, listen to what I just made. We can really do this. But at the time, Malice wasn't budging. He brushed it off like it wasn't the moment. Pusha even said, if I had it my way, it would be the Clipse. But that decision, it was always Malice's call. And now, thanks to Jim running wild, he might have just handed Malice the ultimate reason to pick up the mic again and get back in the ring. Truth is, the comeback whispers started way back in 2022 when Clipse popped out during Pharrell's Something in the Waterfest in Virginia Beach. The crowd went nuts. That was the soft launch, the warm-up for something bigger. Then they popped up again, Complex Con, and later at Hyde Park Summerfest in Chicago. And when they hit the stage, it was like time hadn't touched them. They tore through classics like Lord Willin' and Hell Hath No Fury with Straight Fire and Malice.
Can you sing along the 5 Pusha T records right now? His records.
Yes.
His records?
Yeah.
Name
I
them.
love Pusha. Nostalgia.
Oh, you was a Pusha T fan. He's like,
you know.
I didn't know he had fans like that. Can you name 5 Pusha T records? No, his records. Pusha T, I love your soul, my dog. You're not in my top 50. You might be in Charlemagne's top 50 and things like that, but you haven't done that much for me in my life. Like, I didn't never want to be like Pusha. I never had a Pusha moment in my life. I never thought, like you did, like, where I'm from, I just want to be like you if you was really that dude and that rapper and things like that.
Wayne wanted to
It's
be like Pusha.
Yeah.
He was influenced by Pusha.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's why Pusha did the Mr. Me Too record.
Okay, cool. You a very strong Pusha T fan. You heard? Mm-hmm. But what else has he bring to the game? Did he make people want to dress like him? Did he have some slang that everybody was talking like him? There would be all the girls wanted to do him. Like, what is you did?
He didn't look hesitant. He looked hungry. But what came next? Oh, that's when things flipped for real. Clipse pulled up in Paris, but they weren't just on stage. They were on the runway, side by side with Pharrell, strutting down Louis Vuitton's catwalk like royalty. And this wasn't no regular fashion moment. It was history. Pharrell, fresh in his new role as Louis Vuitton's men's creative director, wasn't just serving style. He brought the entire culture with him. And boom, there it was. Mid-show, with Jay-Z and Beyonce sitting front row, a brand new Clipse track dropped over the speakers. It hit hard. No sugarcoating, no metaphors to hide behind. Cold, raw, straight to the point. The message? It was aimed directly at Jim Jones.
Make some noise for the Clipse. It's the Genesis.
Now hold on. DC, make some noise for the Clipse, y'all.
It's only right.
Pusha T locked eyes with the camera, stone-faced, and it was clear as day. You caused this. This wasn't just a diss track. This was performance art. It was a statement rolled out at Paris Fashion Week, right in front of the biggest names in fashion and hip-hop. And Pharrell, he was the maestro behind the whole play. Fans started putting the pieces together fast. This wasn't some random fashion moment. This was Pharrell's silent revenge, a boss-level clapback planned from the top floor of Louis Vuitton's headquarters, dressed in designer but dripping with shade. And let's not forget, Jim's been loud about who he backs. He's been pushing Drake as the GOAT in interviews over and over again. No mystery there. And Drake, that's Pusha T's biggest rival. So when Jim threw his support behind Drake, he practically painted a target on his own back. This wasn't just shade anymore. It was payback on a luxury level, just like that. Clipse came back swinging, no press tour, no lead single, no warning, just a surgical strike. A revenge track dropped in silence, but premiered on one of the most elite runways in the world. This wasn't a rollout. This was a power play.
You think it'd be valor amongst veterans? I'm watching your fame escape relevance. We all in a room, but here's the elephant. You chasing a feature out of your element. And those lap diamonds under inspection. The question marks block your...
Jim really thought he was just talking slick, but behind the scenes, Pusha T and No Malice were plotting. Not just a comeback, a legendary resurrection, using Jim as the bait. Now fans are wondering out loud. Did Jim Jones just hand No Malice the coldest return moment in rap history? Or worse, did he accidentally write his own rap obituary? Because Clipse ain't even dropped a full album yet, and the smoke is already suffocating the scene. And it's not just about the bars, it's about everything this moment represents. And don't forget Pharrell, the real mastermind moving the chess pieces. He's not just the fashion king at Louis Vuitton, he's family to Clipse. He's the architect behind their sound, their flavor, their whole identity. So when Jim hit those interviews talking reckless, mocking Clipse's catalog, brushing them off as irrelevant, he didn't just come for Pusha, he clowned the entire legacy Pharrell helped build.
If you know it's always on the Big Mac. You'll drive through, we drive by in the car with a Big Mac. The last year you dropped, that shit was garbage, take that shit back. Plus you got the red right, trying to bring the Clipse right. Talking about your brother, what happened to that boy? Looking like it is selling tracks to that boy. Really though, enough of the jokes, niggas get embarrassed. I really got some money, I catch you niggas out of.
That's where he messed up, and what nobody expected. No Malice stepping back into the booth like he never left. That shook the culture. The moment went viral. Even lit up Spotify's Rap Caviar podcast like wildfire. This ain't just rap beef anymore. It's a cultural shift in motion. Let's be real. For over a decade, No Malice was the quiet one, the older brother who left the rap game behind, walked away from the spotlight, and gave his life to faith. While Pusha T stayed in the mud, trading bars and battling in the trenches, No Malice chose peace and never looked back. He didn't just disappear. He told the world flat out, I'm done with rap. No interviews, no teases, just a clean break. So when his voice suddenly echoed through those speakers at the Louis Vuitton show in Paris,
we went viral on the Spotify Rap Caviar podcast.
Yes.
About
Man,
Pusha T.
People don't like people, yeah. See, there we go. And then look what happens. But I'm ready for all things, man. Shouts to Pusha, shouts to that guy, shouts to the Clipse. I mean, congratulations.
Do you like the new song?
No, but
you don't like Ace Trumpets?
What's so great about it?
It's so good.
It's good.
It's so So yeah, there's something going on that you ain't tell us about,
it's
bro.
It's good in what? A nostalgic value of it.
You don't think Ace Trumpets is hard?
I don't believe them. But that's a whole nother story. I don't want to downplay anybody's craft and music. I want to uplift everybody and things like that. But I don't listen to their music. I never have. I can't recall too many records that I can remember.
that wasn't just a cameo, that was spine-chilling, straight goosebumps. But don't get it twisted, this wasn't some random hype verse. No Malice came back with intent. Every bar had weight, every line was razor sharp. When he said, bird talk, we all parrots, that wasn't just wordplay. That was a sniper shot at Jim Jones's whole identity. It hit directly at Bird Gang, Jim's crew, his brand, the image he's built for years. And those city drops, Paris, Dallas, that wasn't a coincidence. That was a mirror move. Those were the exact same cities Jim had just shouted out in his freestyle over chains and whips days earlier. No Malice didn't just hear it. He studied it and then struck back like a ghost in the room. But here's the part that really shook fans. No Malice didn't just return. He came back with purpose. You could hear it in his voice. This wasn't just a one-time moment. He was rapping like he'd been waiting for this smoke. Like this comeback was personal. Like Jim accidentally unlocked something that had been caged for too long.
I would say he's the greatest of all times. The relevancy that he keeps showing year after year, hit after hit, record after record. Any record that he has put out has seemed to go multiple platinum. Like that's never has happened before in this history. I mean, there's a few other people that do astronomical numbers like that, but he really in it, like, you know.
And now the silence is over. This wasn't just a comeback. This was a checkmate. A warning shot aimed straight at every inflated ego sitting front row. And the wildest twist? Jim Jones handed them the green light himself. He gave No Malice the perfect excuse to step back in and didn't even realize it. Jim tried to play it smooth, kicking off his so-called response tour by laughing at Pusha T's Paris verse on Instagram. He acted like it was nothing, like he was too cool to care. But the mask slipped quick. The minute he hit Drink Champs, the cracks started showing.
When I was coming home one day and talking with myself, I said, I'm just gonna live. Forget this guilty, feeling. Forget all this regret. Do what you wanna do. Ain't nobody else tripping like you. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and party and do it up. And I literally tried to sear my conscience. Like, forget it. So when people say you found God, I did not find God. I was trying to party with the devil. Trust me, I was trying to go hard. God himself said, no, not you. He did not allow me to do it. And that's what I seen with my own eyes, whether anyone believes it or not.
NORE brought up that Clipse diss, and Jim slipped bad. For a moment, the cool guy act broke. The confidence wavered. You could see it. He felt that pressure. Even if it was just for a second, the energy changed. But instead of falling back and regrouping, Jim tried to strike fast. He jumped in the booth and dropped that Chains and Whips freestyle, using the exact same beat Clipse had just used to air him out. Then came the BET Awards. Bootleg Kev pulled him aside for a quick interview, and Jim went right back to the front, pretending he wasn't fazed. But when Kev brought up Clipse's new single Chains and Trumpets, Jim couldn't keep it chill.
Niggas ain't slut like me. They ain't getting money like me. They ain't spitting that poop like me.
He called the bars mid and claimed Clipse was just riding off nostalgia. But let's be honest, Jim wasn't giving confident vet vibes. He looked like a rapper barely holding it together under pressure. You could feel the heat on him. The laughter didn't hit the same, the jabs weren't landing. And the fans, they noticed. Every move he made looked like someone trying to prove he's not rattled when he definitely is. And it was showing bad, because what do you do when the same legends you disrespected start rising back up, louder, stronger, and getting real love from the culture? You either humble up or you spiral out. And Jim, he chose the spiral. Just when people thought he might finally chill, he grabbed another shovel and went digging deeper.
They say, you know, Jim, I wasn't talking about you.
I mean, and I would be hurt. That would be heartbroken. I would be so upset. You hurt?
You was talking about me. Yes, you were.
This time, back on Nightcap with Shannon Sharp. And once again, he couldn't help himself. Jim launched into another wild rant, doubling down on his favorite targets like he ain't learned a single lesson. He came for Nas again. Yes, again. Jim straight up said Nas was never that influential, like people ain't still quoting Illmatic. He even claimed Nas always played second fiddle to Jay-Z and DMX with a straight face. And then, brace yourself, he hit us with the wildest comparison.
Way more influential than Nas, and I don't care what nobody say. I know I made a little boo-boo when we talk about the sales and all this type of shit. I don't feel like getting into that rhetoric about where I started and where he started.
Well, you said that bullshit.
But listen, Nas was nice when I was in high school. When I was in 10th grade, Nas came out. Nas was dope. We appreciated him. He had a little bit of run.
That's like saying Jordan fell off after Space Jam. What? That ain't just reaching, that's full-blown delusion. Fans were stunned. But while Jim was chasing headlines and talking reckless, Clipse was locked in behind the scenes, calmly executing a master-level comeback plan. Out of nowhere, they dropped the official rollout for their long-awaited reunion album, Let God Sort 'Em Out. And if people thought Chains and Whips was the final shot, nah, that was just the warm-up. That was the warning. This comeback, it's deeper, louder, and looking like it's about to shake the entire game.
Nas always came up second to Jay and DMX and all these other people. Like,
ain't no shame in that. A lot of them both came up second to Tom Brady.
He never had that type of influence on us, except for his first album.
While Jim keeps talking, Clipse keeps moving. This album wasn't just a comeback, it was a power move. Clipse didn't return to be remembered. They came back to reclaim the throne. And the features stacked to the heavens. We're talking Nas. Yes, the same Nas that Jim called not influential. Then Kendrick Lamar, Tyler, The Creator, The Dream, John Legend, a full elite roster. And to top it off, Pharrell as the executive producer, running the whole ship. But oh, it gets messier. At first, the album was set to drop under Def Jam, until word hit the streets that Def Jam tried to censor Kendrick's verse. Yup, that verse. Sources say Kendrick came in swinging, dropping layered heat aimed at Drake, Travis Scott, and the fake machine behind the industry. No names, but the shade was sharp. Def Jam didn't want the smoke and tried to gatekeep it, but Clipse, they didn't blink. The moment execs tried to water it down, they snatched the whole album and took it straight to Rock Nation. That move said everything. Clipse wasn't coming back on some nostalgia tour. They were playing the game like bosses, unbothered and uncensored. And when Jim tried to clown them, saying, "Who even rides for Pusha?" that question got answered loud and clear. This wasn't just hype. This was legacy, respect, and power aligning. It wasn't noisy, but it was loud.
The barbecue and shit like that. So I'm a real fan of Nas, but he kind of lost me after the movie Belly and shit like.
Jim wasn't just catching strays anymore. He was being pushed out the frame. Not blackballed, just quietly benched, like the industry already decided, your mic time is up. And for a guy like Jim, whose whole brand was built on being loud, bold, and all about loyalty, this quiet exile hit way harder than any diss Pusha could have penned. No yelling, no drama, just silence. And that silence, it's saying everything. Now that Clipse is gearing up to drop their next track with Nas, the message couldn't be clearer. This ain't just another diss, it's a funeral anthem. The industry's shifting, alliances are locking in, and the rooms that matter? Jim's name ain't on the guest list. Yeah, he can keep rapping, he can keep trolling, laughing, saying it's all jokes. But while he's chasing clicks, the real players are setting up world tours, signing million-dollar deals, and filming visuals with Hollywood budgets, and none of it includes Jim. So the real question now ain't will Jim respond, it's will anybody even care if he does? He wanted to go viral, but now he's fading, fast. And if he's not careful, he might have just erased himself from hip-hop history with his own mouth. So let's talk. Drop a comment below and let me know what you think. Was this a fair fallout, or did Jim push too far? Don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who lives for hip-hop drama, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel because the next video, it's even messier than this one. See you there.